We did a debt authorization for $57,348,000 with ordinance number 4411, which that was taking the
That
engineer's
encompassed
estimate of
everything.
the entire project, plus financing, plus engineering. With this project coming in a little bit over, that kind of taps into that part of that. So the question will be, as we get to Phase D and get that piece bid, we may have to come back to you with another ordinance to up that 57 million to accommodate whatever that Phase D process comes back in with bids. Right now, we're spending 42 million. We've got 57 authorized, so we're covered for this piece. It's the Phase D that we talked about that we may have to revisit as we get closer to that.
The electrical items I talked about earlier are for all the project. So they need to go in now to cover all the projects. So that relaxes pressure on Phase D. And there was one building that, Building 18, shifted from Phase D into Phase ABC. So there's an offset there. As far as the EPA, if there's possibility you would exceed your loan authorizing ordinance, we're going to need to do that before Phase D goes to bid. That doesn't mean you're going to spend what's in that loan ordinance. It just says you're capable of doing that. And the EPA can't go forward unless they know you're capable of doing so. Based on your financial plan, you will be more than capable of doing that.
I'm confident you're not going to want to give a concrete number, but knowing what this bid came in as, how that compared to the original estimate, also knowing it contains some things that are going to be needed in Phase D. If we are authorized for 57 million, do you have a projected guess of what a complete authorization should look like as far as total numbers?
Right now, just guessing off the top of my head because of the differential between, 42 and 37. Probably 42 is that's 3, 4, 5. I would say 3 to 4. Okay. However, we need to re-estimate.
I got you. Yeah.
We're going to relearn, and we're not coming up here with without having done some more due diligence.
Sure. Excuse me. When you said we were landlocked down there, isn't there some property across the street that's vacant there that I mean, I know it's hindsight, and I need to be brought up to speed, and I need to get my sea legs. I've only been here like a second. But wasn't there an empty lot over there where we wouldn't have to be building a plant while the plant's running if we would have moved that over there, or am I mistaken?
Not at all. That's an excellent question. That's one of the first questions Mr. Jeffers and the boys asked when we sat down day one. Why aren't we doing that? And we studied that. We went back and forth quite a few times. The idea was maybe deactivating the headworks, that's a plant number 1, and moving the headworks onto that side. But it was a cost issue. And plus, all the influent interceptors come through that intersection. It's a literal spaghetti nightmare. We'd had to work our way under and all that kind of stuff. They were also looking at purchasing the cat property just to the north, right? And kind of doing some things there. So it's a very good question. That was addressed and looked into. We are putting something over there for vector storage and hauling. So there is another pad being added over there. But, it's kind of a mutual decision at that point. Cost and about the only thing we'd have been able to move over there would be the headworks facility, which is it's a chunk, but it's not a large chunk of the plant site. There's really no room to add 5, 10 MGD there at that facility. Another large clarifier or another large secondary reactor or something like that. That's really the limiting factor. We might be able to if we take some of the CSO storage out of the picture, but if we do that, we're taking low-cost stuff and offsetting it with super high-cost stuff. So all those kind of things were in play, if that helps any.
What's the timetable as far as for completion? If the project starts in July, August, like you said, when would it be done?
Well, if the low bidder is going to jump right on that thing right away. What limits us going forward is we got to take a chunk offline. It has to be off. You can't drive down the road with a mechanic fixing your carburetor under the hood while you're flying down the road at 80 miles an hour. We're going to have to pull off the side of the road and stop. So a chunk of the plant will be yanked out of service. And we have to tell the EPA, okay, we're starting at this chunk at this point, and we're going to be complete with that chunk at this point. and then we can hop to the next piece, after that's up and operational. So it's that staging that slows us down. So I think we're in a 3-year picture. There's 3 pieces simultaneously, so we're not going to do, things will be happening at one time. So there's 3 sites that they'll be mobilized on. I think the pump station and the force main probably will be up and running within a year and a half. And a lot of the improvements at plant number 3, will be moving forward within a year and a half. There'll be major things going on there. Plant number 1, because of its tightness, will be kind of be the one that holds us back.
And also the load shift. If you have the other 2 things up and running, you can load shift and take a lot of load off the plant while you're doing construction.
Right, if we get the pump station working and plant number 3 up to par first or early as possible, that reduces stress on plant number 1 to do more.
Which would be a good thing.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions from council?
Are you guys aware for sure, I mean, besides the 2 plant properties, do you understand the lift station, the storage component? It's basically going from the bottom of Oakwood Road all the way up to the top of Oakwood Road. So you kind of know how that turns and goes up and down and around corners. That's the route that this force main is traveling to get back up to the top to end up gravity to go back down to plant 3.
Yeah,
So that 11,000 foot is all along Oakwood Road.
Yeah, that pump, one of those pumps in that pump station, that pump's in the ground a ways, but it's looking at a 14-inch pipe vertically above my head at 280 feet full of water, sitting on that thing. It's an interesting challenge.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Sheridan.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Any comments from public? Hearing none. I think that wraps it up. I would seek a motion to adjourn the working session.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Yes.
Sutherland?
Yes.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
We will be back in 30 minutes. We'll call this meeting to order. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Here.
Hill?
Here.
Mingus?
Here.
Sutherland? Here. Mayor Call?
Here.
All present, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the pledge.
Shall we pray? Heavenly Father, thank you for this day you've given us to serve the city's business. Today being the first complete meeting after this council's swearing in, we ask you to give guidance as we do our best to serve the city and its citizens. We thank you as you've watched over us. Another spring flood threatened our city, and we are thankful for the city employees who planned and took action to keep our city safe. We ask for your blessing on tonight's meeting, and we, as we depart, and watch over us as we return home. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of the minutes, please.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the minutes of the regular meeting held on May 7, 2019 be approved as printed.
We have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Yes.
Sutherland?
Yes.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Very good. Under communications, have two proclamations. Whereas emergency medical services are a vital public service, and whereas the members of emergency medical services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury, and whereas the emergency medical services system consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, pre-hospital nurses, emergency physicians, trained members of the public, and other out-of-hospital medical care providers. And whereas the members of emergency medical services teams, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of emergency medical services providers by designating Emergency Medical Services Week, now therefore, I, John P. Call, Mayor of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, do hereby proclaim May 19th through 25th as Emergency Medical Services Week with the theme EMS Strong Beyond the Call, and call upon all citizens to participate in this observance. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, to be affixed this 21st day of May 2019. Chief? We truly are blessed in this city with the quality of services that are provided by our EMS. And all those that support greatly appreciate that. So, second proclamation, whereas the City of East Peoria is committed to recognizing that our growth and strength depends on the safety and economic value of the homes, buildings, and infrastructure that serve our citizens both everyday life and in times of natural disaster. And whereas our confidence in the structural integrity of these buildings that make up our community is achieved through the devotion of building safety and fire prevention officials, builders, tradespeople, laborers, and many others in the construction industry who work year-round to ensure the safe construction of buildings. And whereas these professionals are dedicated members of the International Code Council, a U.S.-based organization that brings together local, state, and federal officials that are experts in the built environment to create and implement the highest quality codes to protect us in the building where we live, work, and play. And whereas our nation benefits economically and technologically from using international codes that are developed by a national voluntary consensus codes and standards organization. Our government is able to avoid the high cost and complexity of developing and maintaining codes, which are the most widely adopted building safety and fire prevention codes in the world. And whereas Building Safety Month is sponsored by the International Code Council to remind the public about the critical role of our community's largely unknown code officials who assure us of safe, efficient, and livable buildings that are essential to America's prosperity. And whereas no code, no confidence, the theme for Building Safety Month 2019 encourages all Americans to raise awareness of the importance of safe and resilient construction, fire prevention, disaster mitigation, and new technologies in the construction industry. And whereas each year, in observance of a Building Safety Month, Americans are asked to consider the commitment to improve building safety and economic investment at home and in the community, and to acknowledge the essential service provided to all of us by local and state building departments, fire prevention bureaus, and federal agencies. Now therefore, I, John P. Call, Mayor of the City of East Peoria, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2019 as Building Safety Month. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the great seal of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, to be affixed this 21st day of May 2019. Ty. Very good. Madam Clerk?
Your Honor, tonight we have a bid opening for some city-owned surplus real estate. We have 7 properties. First is located at Fairview Avenue, East Peoria, Illinois, 300 block, tax ID number 010133202002, 130 Kerfoot Street, East Peoria, Illinois, 202 Arnold Road, East Peoria, Illinois, 212 Division Street, East Peoria, Illinois, 232 Everett Street, East Peoria, Illinois, 238 Franklin Street, East Peoria, Illinois, and 349 Park Avenue, East Peoria, Illinois. We received 2 bids, Your Honor. I'll be opening those. The first is for parcel, it says for parcel number 4, which is 212 Division. And it says the amount is from Casey B. Brewer for $6,222.22. The second one says it's for 202 Arnold Avenue, and it is for $150. Those are all the bids, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Public comment from the audience on an agenda item. Evening, Bob.
My name is Bob Sinks. I live in Richmond Farms. On this 326 Sanford Street, a special use permit for outside storage. Well, and I understand it was for highway safety equipment. Okay, and that's all grass in there except the driveway going in, unless it's been changed in the last couple of days. Okay, and you store all that stuff out there. I don't know what it is, how heavy it is, or anything else. But you start storing that out there in that grass, then how are you going to keep the grass cut and the weeds trimmed? Now, I've been coming here for a little over 2 years, and I always keep hearing, well, we want to update the older neighborhoods. We want to clean them up, we want to have this, we want to do that for the older neighborhoods. So if you let them put it in there with the outside storage, you and I both know, whoever this gentleman is, he's not going to have somebody come in there every 10 to 14 days, move all that stuff, cut the grass, and put it all back. And I don't blame you. It all costs money. I understand all that. And to the owner of the building, you got one heck of a nice building. I'd like to own it myself, but that's another story. I'm too old for that crap. But anyway, I'm 100% against the outside storage part, because I think we've been down that road before, and I think we've had some problems with these special use permits for things along these lines. Now, I have nothing against either gentleman, the one that wants to use it and the one that wants to sell it. But now think about this, gentlemen, all 5 of you. If that was going to go in your neighborhood, you'd scream like Comanches. You remember the 20 acres up here where the winery was going to go? Not in my neighborhood, baby. Remember all that? I do, and I'm sure you guys do too. And sorry I didn't get to the zoning board meeting. I got tied up about 5:45, and I didn't get cut loose till about 6:15, so I figured it was over by the time I got there, or I would have voiced my opinion then. And that's how I feel. Now, I realize it's all in you 5 guys' hands, and you're going to do what you feel is best for the city. But just remember, every morning when you go up there in the bathroom to comb your hair, lucky y'all got hair anyway, you're going to have to look at you. And then you're somewhere along the way, if your memory's like most people's, something's going to jog and pop back. Are you going to be real happy with what you see in that mirror for letting it go in somebody else's neighborhood and not your own? Thank you very much.
Hey, we appreciate your comments. I want to give Ty an opportunity to speak.
Mayor, so Bob, with that case, we did hear from the petitioner, and they are going to compact gravel where they're going to store the materials. Where the vehicles operate is to be paved, and then in addition to that, they're going to screen, you already have an existing chain link fence that is going to be screened with slats or mesh. So there are going to be some accommodations to ensure that that site is maintained and we don't have the weed issue like you're talking about.
Is it going to be done that this mesh and everything is going to be put in before the very first thing is stored? We've been down that road, Ty.
Understood. And it makes it very difficult to move these items in and out. In fact, the representative for the petitioner is here tonight, that he can also speak with you about that. But that was conditions of the special use, is to have those things addressed before.
Well, like I said, there was a lot I didn't know because I didn't get to that meeting.
Sure.
Okay? But I just wasn't going to let it pass because for over 2 years I've been hearing we're going to clean up the neighborhoods. We ain't going to let stuff pile up and on and on and on. So what's good for the goose will have to be good for the gander. And I'm one of the first that'll be here squawking like a Comanche, believe me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sinks. Any other comments from the public on an agenda item? Yes, sir.
Mr. Udo Dreyer, 221 Twin Oaks Court. I think it's about time to put an end to this fireworks on nights and leaf burning, garbage burning, trimmings off the house when they build on and off. I had one on Mother's Day, raining. He burned from 7 o'clock till 8 o'clock at night, just smoldering. Twin Oaks was lying just in white clouds. I mean, it's totally ridiculous. That's my way of looking at it anyway.
Okay.
Thank you.
He's referring to the open burning, which the city allows twice a year. And I've sat up here for 4 years and preached vehemently about people need to abide by the city ordinance. And unfortunately, most people do not. So I understand his frustration. Any other comments? Hearing none. Commissioner Hill.
Mr. Mayor, I have 8 items for tonight. So, getting started. Item 1, be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, that claims as listed on Schedule 1 be allowed. Mr. Mayor, I move that the clerk is hereby authorized and directed to issue orders on the treasurer for the various amounts totaling $1,191,314.96, and the schedules of bills be hereby adopted as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you,
Hold on.
Commissioner.
Hold on a minute. Mr. Sutherland?
Yes. You know, I have the local hardware store here, and City of East Peoria used to do a little bit of business with me. No longer anymore do the beautiful city employees come and visit my establishment since I'm here. There is small bills dribbling in from weeks ago and probably will be weeks more to go, so I'm going to abstain. Thank you.
Okay. Morgan, roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Yes.
Sutherland?
Abstain.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
I have 3 ayes and 1 abstention, Your Honor.
Item number 2, Mr. Mayor, I move that ordinance number 4436 hereto attached, an ordinance providing for the sale of excess city property at 124 West Faulkner Road, be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Decker.
Any comments?
Oh, this particular property and actually the next case are both properties the city has acquired through the judicial process of foreclosure, and we have no practical use for those, and we want to make those productive and put them back, and selling them to the bidders was the best choice to put these back in operation.
Any further comments from the council? Hearing none. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Yes.
Sutherland?
Yes.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Next item, similar to the last one, Mr. Mayor, I move that ordinance number 4437 hereto attached, an ordinance providing for the sale of excess property at 101 and 103 Harmony Avenue be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Comments?
This is again another property that we are returning to productive use by selling it.
Roll call.
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Yes.
Sutherland?
Yes.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Next item, Mr. Mayor, I move that ordinance number 4439 hereto attached, an ordinance authorizing special use for property located at 325 Sanford Street in the city of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois, to allow outdoor storage of materials be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Decker.
Comments from the council?
Yes, this one, as Mr. Sink had commented on, it's at the corner of Sanford and Edmond. One of the things that, one of the details that Ty already spoke to is there are, the ZBA has recommended certain constraints that are applied to this property, and one of them is that the screening from the residential area as well as the gravel surface for all areas that materials will be stored on, and hard surface for anywhere that a vehicle will be parked on.
Any additional comments?
I had some concerns about this as well. And it dates back to not this property, but a previous property that we allowed a special use. Some of you may remember the porta potty property down in Richland. Things like screening did not occur as quickly as I would like. I am going to support this tonight, but based on a couple items. First of all, the property is a very nice-looking building. I think it's a good business from what I've been told. They are using the crushed gravel as well as the parking areas, I believe, are paved. The screening and the mesh, I agree, Mr. Sinks. I think that should be done prior to any storage. I don't believe that's listed in the resolution. However, I at least hope the owners will recognize that would be something that would be important to the community.
I would like to have a question on that one, please.
Sure.
No one mentioned noise. I mean, is this a daylight business, or is this, do they come and get signage at night in case of emergencies, or, I mean, it's a 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., is that what this is?
Normal business hours. Casey, could you speak to that as far as hours of operation? Sorry, this is a petitioner's representative.
Hi, my name is Casey Keppel. I'm here on behalf of the petitioner. The business is normal business hours. The only time that they would possibly be outside of normal business hours is if there was a pipe break in the middle of the street outside in the middle of the night, and then the city had to have the streets blocked off or closed down because of water or something like that. So outside of any extraordinary circumstances, this would be a business that runs during normal business hours.
Is it close to houses? I mean, is it right next door to houses?
There's one house right
One.
adjacent to the east. There's another business to the north, an alley, and a fenced-in lot to the north that has vehicles, I believe.
And the
Correct.
house that is adjacent to it right now, they're not here tonight?
No, they were not at the zoning board hearing either.
Okay, cool.
Any other comments?
No?
And I agree with Mr. Sinks that the city, the onus is on us to ensure that everything is followed through with, and I know, I trust that we'll do that. Okay. Roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Yes.
Sutherland?
Yes.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Next item, Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I move that ordinance number 4440, hereto attached, an ordinance authoring a special use for property located at 105 North Hawthorne Avenue in the city of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois, to allow outdoor storage and display of materials to be accepted on its first reading, as read by its title, be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Mingus. In this case, formerly the property was, first property on North Hawthorne was formerly known as J&J Toppers. It's planning on doing some expansion on the one end of the building as well as the front. The property intends to have higher-end vehicles and trailers for sale. Anything else, Ty?
One of the items that we addressed as a part of there was a neighbor that had a concern about lighting. The petitioner's going to adjust the lighting so that downfire is on the lot, not across the street. They are also working on another access point off of 150, which is outside of our purview. They have to go to IDOT for that, but that certainly would be supported in the sense that you'd keep any sort of truck traffic for any sort of deliveries off of Hawthorne. But at this point, their access is off of Hawthorne.
Any additional comments?
This as well, Mayor. A couple concerns I have, but it was good to know that besides the person who was there for the lighting, and I believe that's been accommodated, I don't believe there was any other outcry of negativity from the community around. There's been a business there for a long time on that site that has had outdoor storage, so I will be supporting it.
Any further comments? Hearing none. Roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Yes.
Sutherland?
Yes.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Next item, be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, that resolution number 1920-001, hereto attached, a resolution approving monitoring and administration services contract for information technology services between City and Hart Technologies, Inc., be approved, and that this resolution number 1920-011 be accepted on its first reading and read by its title, and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Yes.
Okay. This one is key to the operations of the city right now. We're deficient one network manager, and this position is for network services and desktop services. And it reduces the risk to the city in the aspect of that we can draw upon 27 engineers in the Hart Technologies firm that can support the city's help desk desktop needs as well as their networking needs. And this actually will save, even in the first year, approximately $21,000 in cost by utilizing Hart Technologies services.
Very good.
Questions?
Additional comments from the council? Hearing none. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Yes.
Sutherland?
Yes.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Okay, Resolution 1920-004, whereas the owner of parcel number 01-01-32-414-008, the property has filed complaint with the Tazewell County Board of Review. The Board of Review, for the purpose of challenging the assessed value assigned to the property, and whereas the city of East Peoria has objected to the change in the assessed value, and whereas the Board of Review has affirmed the assessment originally assigned to the property, and whereas the owner of the property has appealed the decision of the Board of Review to the Illinois Property Tax Appeal Board, also known as PTAB, and whereas in its best interest of the city to intervene in the proceedings currently pending before PTAB, now and therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois, that the attorney for the city is hereby authorized and directed to obtain an appraisal for the property and petition for leave to intervene in the proceeding involving the assessment of the property, which proceeding is identified as docket number 2108-01379.001-C-3, currently pending before the Illinois Property Tax Appeal Board. Mr. Mayor, I move that the resolution number 1920-014 be adopted as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
This is, this case and the next resolution is businesses protesting their appraisal amount, and this is authorizing the city to act on behalf of the city in this process.
Very good. Comments from the council? Hearing none. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Yes.
Sutherland?
Yes.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, the final item for me tonight, Resolution 1920-013, whereas the owner of parcel number 0-01-31-107-003 has filed a complaint with the Tazewell County Board of Review for the purpose of challenging the assessed value assigned to the property, and whereas the City of East Peoria has objected to the change in assessed value, and whereas the Board of Review has affirmed the assessment originally assigned to the property, and whereas the owner of the property has appealed the decision of the Board of Review to the Illinois Property Tax Appeal Board, also known as PTAB, and whereas it is the best interest of the city to intervene in the proceedings currently pending before PTAB, now and therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois, that the attorney for the city is hereby authorized and directed to obtain an appraisal for the property and petition for the leave to intervene in the proceeding involving the assessment of the property, which proceeding is identified as docket number 2018-01382.001-C-3, currently pending before the Illinois Property Tax Appeal Board. Mr. Mayor, I move that resolution number 1920-013 be adopted as presented.
Do I have a second?
Yes.
Comments?
Again, this is the same as the last case. It's property owner attesting their appraisal value, and then we're authorizing our attorney to represent us.
Very good. Roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Yes.
Sutherland?
Yes.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Mr. Mayor, that is it for me.
Commissioner Decker?
3 items, Mayor. First of all, resolution number 1920-009. Whereas the Honorable Mayor John P. Call has recommended appointment of Douglas McCarty, Director of Tourism and Special Events, as the City of East Peoria's representative member of the Peoria Area Convention and Visitors Bureau Board of Directors, and whereas it is in the best interest of the City of East Peoria to confirm and approve such appointment, be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, that the appointment by Mayor John P. Call of Director of Tourism and Special Events Douglas McCarty as the city's representative member on the Peoria Area Convention and Visitors Board of Directors to serve in such capacity until he is removed by the mayor be hereby confirmed and approved, and that this resolution number 1920-009 be adopted as presented. Mr. Mayor, I move you that resolution number 1920-009 be adopted as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Comments?
Thank you, Commissioner Mingus. I can't think of a better person to be in that position. Doug is, he is always connected with different tourism events that come into the city, whether it be the Cars and Coffee to things at East Side. He's a person that's always in the mix of what's coming to our community, so happy to support this.
And I agree with Commissioner Decker. Thank you, Doug, for your willingness to serve. Roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Yes.
Sutherland?
Yes.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Next, Mayor, resolution number 1920-010. Be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, that the appointments by Mayor John P. Call of the following individuals to various boards and commissions of the City of East Peoria is hereby approved. East Peoria Human Relations Commission, Marjorie Gruder, member, to fill the vacancy created by the resignation of John Call, term May 1, 2019 to April 30th, 2020. Megan Taylor, member, to fill the vacancy created by the resignation of Rich Broderick, term May 1, 2019 to April 30th, 2021. East Peoria Mass Transit District, Demetrio Presidio. How do you pronounce it? Demetrio Preciado. Demetrio Preciado. I knew I was going to get it wrong. I just thought I'd look at you. Member, to fill the vacancy created by the passing of Earl Franks, term May 1, 2019 to April 30th, 2023. East Peoria Police Pension Fund Board, Jeffrey L. Weber, member, to fill the vacancy created by the resignation of William Fitzgerald, term May 1, 2019 to April 30th, 2022. Be it further resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, that the reappointments by Mayor John P. Call of the following individuals to various boards and commissions of the City of East Peoria be hereby approved. East Peoria Human Relations Commission, Dan Decker, member, term May 1, 2019 to April 30th, 2021. Jamie Cassidy, member, term May 1, 2019 to April 30th, 2021. Rick Swan, member, term May 1, 2019 to April 30th, 2021. East Peoria Planning Commission, Richard, member, term May 1, 2019 and to April 30th, 2022. Corby Gorman, member, term May 1, 2019 to April 30th, 2022. East Peoria Fire Police Commission, John Redling Schaefer, member, term May 1, 2019 to April 30th, 2022. And East Peoria Mass Transit District, Rachel Odewalt, member, term May 1, 2019 to April 30th, 2023. And that this resolution number 1920-010 be adopted as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill. This was quite a bit to talk about. Something that the mayor has the honor of doing in his role, and certainly I know I was listed as Human Relations Commission. Rich Broderick was on that commission for quite a while. Appreciate the work he did. All those commissions take time away from their family, and never want something like that to just go by the wayside without recognizing it. So really appreciate all the work. Mr. Critterball, you've been on for a long time, so really appreciate everything.
Other comments from the council?
I too would just like to thank those giving of their time for the city.
Yeah, it's greatly appreciated, and I appreciate everyone's willingness to continue serving and those that haven't to step up and serve. And it is quite an honor to appoint these individuals, and their hard work and volunteer time does not go unnoticed. I can promise you that. So, roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Yes.
Sutherland?
Yes.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
And finally, Mayor, resolution number 1920-008. Be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, the resolution number 1920-008 hereto attached, a resolution approving Festival of Lights electrical upgrade project equipment purchase from Springfield Electric and Gray Bar be approved. And this resolution number 1920-008 be accepted on its first reading as read by its title, be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Mingus. You all, I'm sure, have seen the Festival of Lights, the park over the years. One of the things that I've heard the most all that time is, why do you waste so much electricity? You have these lights on 24 hours a day. Well, that's always been difficult. They weren't able to, they would have to go around the park and shut so many different things off every day. This is now becoming quite a bit easier for them to do. The currently 28 electrical services, this was put in approximately 30 years ago. So finally we are doing upgrades that we should. It was back then it was needed to have that many. I think we are eliminating 17 Ameren meters. It's a good thing for us. It has a short payback of approximately 3 years with all the energy savings that we're going to recognize. Happy that that's going to get accomplished. It's a long time in the making, so appreciate that going forward.
Any other comments from the council? Hearing none. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Yes.
Sutherland?
Yes.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Commissioner Sutherland.
Well, I'm going to read off this resolution, number 1920-006. Be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, that the resolution 1920-006 hereto attached a resolution accepting the low bid for the city sanitary sewer system upgrade project be approved, and that this resolution number 1920-006 be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner
I-
Decker.
I think I would like to say, may I? Okay.
By all means.
We were schooled on this project. It's a lot of money. I'm involved in my second week on the city council, spending my part of the vote of $37 million. That's daunting to me. They were using words and acronyms and things that I know nothing about, but I will. I'm going to support this because we need to do something, but I'm going to learn real quick for everybody here. Thank you.
Dennis, would you like to give a little snapshot, just so the public understands?
Yes, this project has been going on since long before I've been in this seat, or even my previous seat. The city's chosen to work with Farnsworth as an engineering firm to be able to evaluate our current sites, have done a peer review of their recommendations for improvements. The city chose to move forward with their design, of which we've completed. We've now gotten to the point of, through our EPA financing approval process, and we're all the way up to awarding the bid to the lowest bidding contractor. We had 3 contractors bid, 2 local and 1 from northern Indiana area. So this is kind of the culmination of a long process to get us moving ahead towards assuring that our wastewater treatment plants will continue to operate long into the future.
Thank you. Any comments from the council?
Thank you, Mayor. This is something that's not easy to do when you spend this much money. It is one of those necessary things. We obviously need a sewer system. I think if anyone has ever taken a tour of, for some reason, if you know somebody that works there, of that, the sewer plant, it is very, very old. I believe parts of it 100 years old, if I'm not mistaken, Dennis. I mean, it's.
I know there's parts that are when 1936, so
Yeah.
we're close enough to 100 years at this point.
And I think most of them are around 50 years, and we should be, if I remember correctly, I'm going back a couple of years when we talked about this, but it should have been replaced long before now. I think our crews have done a good job over the years fixing the things that needed to be fixed. I was talking with Mark a little while ago. I wish we could go back 30 years and start then replacing this because of all the maintenance costs that we spent over those years. Having said that, we didn't need to spend all that money back then. So we've made it as long as we can. We are getting to the point in the city that if we would not have agreed to a project and an upgrade of the project, it was going to be mandated that we would have had to have an upgrade. If that would have occurred, if, again, going back a couple of years to the first conversation we had about it, it would have been quite a bit more expensive to go with a mandated project instead of the one that we were able to work through, take a lot of time to work through and design. So even though it's hard to spend that much money, it is necessary, and I'm glad to finally get it underway.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Kind of echo what Commissioner Sutherland said, our first full meeting and a $42 million line item, $42 million resolution is a little hard to do. I'm going to support this as well. I think it's needed for the city. I think our infrastructure and you know, things people don't always see are important and they cost money, and I feel that if we don't do this now, the cost is only going to go up, as we saw in the working session. It's gone up just in the time that, I think, in a year or whatever it was since they put out for bid. So I think it's important that we do this, and it's important that we do this now because we're not going to get it any cheaper than what we're getting now. So I will support this.
You know, I've talked to some of the employees, and they've said they've patched this thing together and patched this thing together and patched this thing together, and they're living on borrowed time. And I have been down there because if anybody knows what I do for a living, I have been there. And it does need, and I'm an infrastructure freak, and I'm not balking at this at all. I just know that this is part of, a huge part of all the infrastructure in East Peoria that's got to be done. Before I die, I don't want a piece of clay left in the ground. You guys don't know what that means, but what it means is infrastructure. This city is no better than what we're built on. And I think this is a huge step, and I'm not going to micromanage, but I am going to know a whole heck of a lot more here soon.
Very good. I, along with Commissioner Decker, being part of the previous council that laid the groundwork to quit kicking the can down the road and get this project moving, I fully support it. It was a painful decision 2 years ago, but it was a decision everybody unanimously supported because it was long overdue. So the city has done its best to keep up with what we had, and it's at the end of its useful life. And with the mandates coming, there's no better time than now. And should we wait any longer, the costs are going to continue to rise. So with that being said, I fully support it. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Yes.
Sutherland?
Yes.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Very good. Thank you. Commissioner Mingus.
Mr. Mayor, I have one item. Be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, that resolution number 1920-007, hereto attached, a resolution approving purchase and installation of replacement of ESDA tornado siren be approved, and that this resolution number 1920-007 be accepted on its first reading and read by its title, and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
Do I have a second?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Sutherland. This is one of 3 tornado sirens that we plan on putting in the next 3 years. So we have one budgeted in this year's budget, and then we will budget for them in the next 2 years. This one will go on Osage Road, and then next year we plan on putting one in ICC, and then the following year on Illini Drive. It's an improvement from the tornado siren that we have now. It's better, and it will definitely alert citizens a lot better.
Other comments from the council? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Yes.
Sutherland?
Yes.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
That's all you had. Public
That's it?
comments from the audience on non-agenda items. Anyone wish to speak to the council on a non-agenda item? Hearing none. Comments from the council?
Yep, I've got one. Mr. Mayor, or we start with Mr. Decker?
Sure. I'll take care of this one first. After the election, I think everybody probably experienced the same thing. You get nice letters from people, you get cards and things like that. There's one that I wanted to mention because of something that happened recently. And it's real quick, just says congratulations on your win. Appreciate you serving on the city council. And she said a couple of really nice things along with that. But the person that wrote this one is Marge Creek. The reason I wanted to mention Marge is because Marge has been a person in this community that has been around for, I hate to say her age, I can't remember how old she was when she passed, but she died recently. And a friend of mine said when they came to this area, she was the first friend he had. She has worked in the schools, and if you've ever seen any person or any organization that volunteers in East Peoria, she was probably a part of it. She did so many things every year, even up to last year, volunteered for the Festival of Lights Felipe run. You see her on a February morning. She's down there passing out bananas and different things to the runners that come in. I say that because she's a person that I aspire to be as far as a love for a community, and she pretty much gave everything in her life to try to make things better for the people of East Peoria. She died recently, and I couldn't go past tonight without talking about her, what she meant to this community. She really meant quite a bit, so we're really going to miss her. I have one more item, Mayor. It's an executive session. Mr. Mayor, I move that a closed meeting or session of the City Council be held at the conclusion of this regular meeting to discuss the following matter or matters according to exceptions provided in the Open Meetings Act and specified as follows. Section 2C2, collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees and their representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Yes.
Sutherland?
Yes.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Very good.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Commissioner Hill, comments?
Yes, there were 2 events that I'm aware of. There may have been more that happened this weekend, and I thought the people involved and the volunteers, the Big Rig Petting Zoo was down here next to City Civic Plaza. You know, it was a wonderful, I brought my grandchildren down, but it was hosted by the Fond du Lac Library. And so you need to give thanks to the police, the fire, Coast Guard, military, Public Works, all of those individuals and more, I'm probably missing some, had big rigs down here for the families to come down, and it was well attended. It was first time I've attended it. I know it's been maybe at least one other year, but it's kudos to Fond du Lac Library, the host, and all the volunteers that made that successful. The second thing, the IESA track meet. I was up there on Saturday, and the weather wasn't quite as accommodating, but there again, outside visitors from around the state were here, and so we got to give recognition to the administrators, staff, teachers, and the volunteers that make that that event successful and make it a very positive experience for our visitors. So even though it was a horrible day for a track meet, they pushed forward and made that event successful.
Very good. Commissioner Sutherland, any comments?
No, believe it or not, I'm done.
Okay. Commissioner Mingus.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to take a second to commend and thank, and I hope I don't leave anybody out, but our fire department staff, our police department staff, our public works staff. As most of you know, our river rose to, while not record levels within the past couple of weeks, it did rise to levels that were definitely concerning. And I know that our city staff, including those departments that I mentioned, went above and beyond as far as making sure that the city was prepared, making sure that we notified residents in areas that potentially could have had issues with the flooding, and thankfully we did not. But they definitely did everything they could, and I want to thank them publicly and commend them for their efforts.
Very good. And I echo those sentiments. And Doug, hats off to you and your staff for the track meet. Commissioner Decker, I'm glad he brought up Marge Creek. She was the tender age of 88 years old when she passed on May 6th. And for anyone around our age that grew up here and went to either Lincoln or Chute School, you would have known Marge as the secretary. She served in that capacity for about 24 and a half years. And I can promise you she kept track of everybody and never forgot a soul all the way up till the weekend prior to her passing. She was an amazing person, honestly. She gave so much to this community, and I do want to mention some things that she served on because she did this out of her own heart and her own time. She was that passionate about this city. She was the secretary for the Chamber of Commerce for some time. As I said, 24 and a half years with District 86. She volunteered time with the Historical Society, the Beautification Commission, Festival of Lights, the VFW Auxiliary, and was an usher for East Light Theater, amongst many, many other things. And I know the group of gals that she hung out with, they had a very tight-knit group, and thoughts and prayers go out to all those ladies and her family. But she was an amazing lady, and, you know, she sent all of us that she knew a card similar, and she always made it personal. And I got mine, I don't know, a week after the election or so, and it was very similar to Commissioner Decker's. And she's a dear lady. She was a dear friend of my mother and looked out for all of us while we went to school. And anything that we did to get out of line, she ensured that our mother knew before we got home. So she's going to be sorely missed. Just truly a remarkable person. So with that, I'd like to thank all of you for being here this evening, and until we meet again, I would seek a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Mayor, I move we adjourn until Tuesday evening, June 4th, 2019, 6 p.m.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Yes.
Sutherland?
Yes.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present
This
voting aye, Your
meeting is
Honor.
adjourned. Thank you.